Ja, dames en heren, we gaan zometeen verder met de TCR Europe en Benelux TCR Touring Car Series, zoals het zo mooi heet. We hebben straks de WTCR gehad, dat is het wereldkampioenschap, het VIA wereldkampioenschap. Maar we gaan zo meteen dus met de Benelux Europe versie verder. En daarin hebben we ook een mooi startveld staan. Met ja, als toch wel de klapper van gisteren, de kwalificatie, onze eigen Jaap van Lagen in de nummer 46 Audi RS3 LMS TCR. Die met overmacht en in één hele snelle ronde de pole position wist te pakken.
Ja, 44, 1:44, 82 honderd. En ja, Jaap rijdt de gasrace inderdaad, Arthur. En, maar zet ook meteen zijn stempel wel op het spelletje, want de Bas var de snelste in dit veld. En dat doet hij natuurlijk heel mooi.
Ja, dan de tweede plaats op de startregister voor de nummer 25 Cupra TCR. Dat is de auto van Mico Ascona. En ja, dan de tweede startreis voor jou, Erik.
Ja, dan hebben we Attila Tassi, die namens de Honda achter Jaap van Lagen staat. Met naast zich de Hyundai i30 en TCR. En het is wel mooi om te zien dat we dus 4 merken auto's op de eerste 2 startrijen hebben.
Ja, dat geeft aan hoe spannend het hopelijk gaat worden allemaal natuurlijk. Derde startrij dan. Dusan Borkovic in de Hyundai i30 en TCR met de nummer 62 op die vijfde plaats. En daarnaast vinden we Reese Barr, een Italiaan met een ja, toch wel Engels klinkende naam in ieder geval. Met de Hyundai i30 en TCR op die zesde positie. Hij is trouwens nummer 8 op de plank staan.
Ja, wel grappig, op de vierde startrij hebben we nummer 99 George Files voor de Honda Civic. Met naast zich 999. Ja, dat is ook wel redelijk mooi. Dat is Daniel Dutch die daar staat. En dat spreek je zo uit. Dat heb ik me ook laten vertellen. Maar dat is zoals het is.
En wat rijdt hij?
Hij rijdt met een Hyundai i30 en TCR.
Precies, dat jij dat allemaal uit je hoofd weet. Ik vind het toch knap. Dan gaan we naar de vijfde startrij. Daar vinden wij de auto nummer 11. Dat is Jens Renno Muller. Ook met een Honda Civic Type R FK7 TCR. Voor als u het compleet wilt weten. Naast hem dan nog weer een Nederlander, Danny Kroes. Die het ja, goed doet toch op die vijfde startrij. Plaats 10. De nummer 38 Cupra TCR.
En weet je wat dat voor Danny Kroes betekent? Dat de volgende wedstrijd een reverse grid hebben. En dat betekent dat hij bij de tweede wedstrijd op pole position staat. Maar dat even tussen ons gezegd. De volgende rij is voor Stian Paulussen met de Cupra TCR. Met naast zich Igor Stefanovski. Dat zijn natuurlijk prachtige namen. We hebben ook een internationaal startveld.
Ja, dat gaat wat worden als ze dadelijk gaan racen. Dan moeten we die namen achter elkaar eruit gooien. Dat gaat nog wel wat worden. Dan kunt u lachen, moet u opletten. Maar goed, we gaan nog best doen.
Ja,
ik weet niet anders. Dan de zevende startrij vinden we Julien Brichet met de Peugeot 308 TCR op de 13e positie. En de nummer 88 auto.
Hello and welcome to Zandvoort in the Netherlands for rounds 3 and 4 of the 2018 TCR Europe Series. Hello everyone, this is Mark James in the commentary box, welcoming you to a rather misty Zandvoort, this classic circuit which hosted the Dutch Grand Prix between 1950 and 1985. A real historic name, a historic place in motor racing. And we have 2 rounds of TCR Europe, one today and one tomorrow. If you were with us 2 weeks ago at Paul Ricard in the south of France, you'd have seen a masterful performance from Dusan Borkovic. Pole position and the victory in both races means he has a huge lead in the Drivers' Series. But some changes, quite a few changes, in fact, to tell you about ahead of the second race weekend of the series, including a balance of performance change in the last couple of days. Also, a few drivers not with us here in the Netherlands. You'll see very shortly the Lukoil Leopard Audi. There it is, Jaap van Lagen deputising for Jean-Carl Vernet. Vernet doing most of the season, but there is a clash with WTCR, and so Vernet will be driving in the WTCR race later on today. So it's Jaap van Lagen, Dutch driver, taking his place, and indeed he grabbed pole position. It's Mikel Azcona of Spain in the Cupra alongside him on the front row of the grid. Attila Taschi in the Honda, much recovered Attila Taschi after having a torrid weekend in France 2 weeks ago, suffering with flu. Then it's Borkovic in the first of the Hyundais, Rhys Barr, his teammate Josh Files. Then, as you see, it's Danny Nage, Jens Rano Moller, Danny Cruz, Stian Paulsen, Igor Stefanovski, with Julien Brichet, Maxime Potti, Francisco Abreu. And then as we head down towards the back of the grid, a couple of penalties to tell you about. Loris Cenchetti, you see there on row 10 of the grid, receiving a 2-place grid penalty for blocking during qualifying yesterday. And because of an engine change, the third of the target competition Hyundai i30s is starting from the back of the grid. Chris Richard, who did so well in France 2 weeks ago, will start right at the back of the grid, alongside our first female competitor in TCR Europe this year, Marie Bo-Coppens in the Cupra, the only DSG car here in the Netherlands this weekend. So race duration, 23 minutes plus 1 lap, as I explained a fortnight ago. All will become clear. 22 entries here in the Netherlands this weekend. 6 car brands represented. No Stefano Camini, who was in France in the Soul Subaru. He's elected to miss this weekend, and all sorts of rumours about Stefano coming back with a new car. Now, whether that means it's a switch to an existing car brand or an all-new brand, we don't know. Stefano has been quite cryptic on social media, basically saying watch this space. He is here in the Netherlands this weekend, and so not a chance to catch up with him yet to see exactly what he's up to. There are sorts of rumours, but I think it would probably be unfair if I started trotting out those rumours at the moment. Jaap van Lagen, 41 years of age, a Dutch driver on pole for race 1, and it'll also be a Dutch driver on pole for race 2 tomorrow, because Danny Cruz qualified 10th, and so because of the reversed grid, Danny Cruz in the Cupra TCR on pole for race 2. And in case you're wondering why we're racing on a Monday, it is a holiday weekend here in the Netherlands, and as you can see, the crowds are out in their droves. It's a fantastic event, this one, something called the Jumbo Racing Days, and the organisers expecting something like 120,000 people here over the 2 days, and the crowds causing 1 or 2 issues. Both Attila Taschi and Josh Files very late to the circuit. Attila telling me this morning it was something like a 20-minute drive from the hotel that took him over 2 hours. And so he arrived ever so stressed, the last of the drivers to arrive, jumped straight into his race suit and into the car. So you'd be forgiven for thinking that the pressure is on Attila to deliver. He starts from the second row of the grid behind Jaap van Lagen. As we get a flavour of this circuit, the classic 4.3 kilometre Grand Prix circuit at Zandvoort. The green flag waves, and so we are moments away from round 3 of this year's TCR Europe series. We're watching Van Lagen on the right of your screen. The lights go on, they go off, we are racing. Van Lagen, through comes Taschi immediately, gets right up between the two. Oh, there's a problem immediately. That was Rhys Barr, I think, being cannoned into the... Indeed, yes, there is Borkovic in the mix at the pack at the front of the order. And it's Taschi alongside Azcona. Azcona goes through, though, having started from the front row of the grid. Taschi gets on the grass, gets it sideways. Josh Files is up alongside his teammakers as well in the other Honda. And one of the 2 Peugeots also on the grid. And I would have thought yellow flags are out, and that's presumably a full course yellow. Safety car is ready to deploy. And indeed, there is confirmation. And 2 cars off on the starting grid. There is Rhys Barr. Indeed, it was the young Irish driver out of the car, the target competition Hyundai. Let's watch that again. And the incident involving Rhys Barr. Ooh, that looked a big shunt. And indeed, at the same time, it was possibly Julien Brichet in the number 4 Peugeot 308 that was pushed over. Reaction from the pit lane. And indeed, the safety car is out to pick up our race leader. And Igor Stefanovski, also involved in that incident, possibly. I didn't quite get an idea as to where he was. So the clock's still ticking then. 23 minutes plus 1 lap is our race distance. And Stefanovski out of the car. Unsurprisingly, the safety car will bring the field through the pit lane, while the marshals work to clear the damage. And indeed, it's Brichet. As the cars come through pit lane then, at the end of their first lap. Mikel Azcona in the Cupra leads from Attila Tashi and Josh Files. Then it's Dusan Borkovic, then Jaap van Lagen, who started from pole. Danny Nage, then Stian Paulsen, Jens Reno Moller, Danny Cruz, and then it's Francisco Abreu who rounds off the top 10 at the end of this first lap. There's the first incident, and then can't see quite who it was that took avoiding action, forcing the Peugeot into the wall. But potentially it seemed to be the bright orange car, which would perhaps explain the Stefanovski, excuse me, problem. So Rhys Barr's very sorry-looking Hyundai being recovered. What we can't see is the front of Stefanovski's car, presumably sporting damage from the contact with Brichet. There is Brichet's Peugeot in the middle of the track as one of the Cupras, just on the left of your screen briefly, comes into the pit lane. So from 22 starters, we're already down to 19. Chris Ruchard having made up, starting from 22nd and last on the grid. He's already up to 16th place behind Cenchetti. And indeed, it's Marie Bo Coppens who's in the pits in the Cupra. So oil dry being deployed to mop up the fluids on the start-finish straight. There you get the view down from what is the most famous corner at the circuit, turn 1, the so-called Tarzanbocht. I mentioned the historic nature of Zandvoort. The first ever motor race in the Netherlands was held on a street circuit in 1939. The current circuit, or in its current location, was built in the 1940s after the Second World War, opened in 1948. As I mentioned earlier, hosted the Dutch Grand Prix many, many times from 1950 through to 1985 with some breaks. It's been modified over the years as we once again watch a replay of the start. And yes, that's the bright orange car of Stefanovski, who's come across to hit Brichet in the Peugeot. And Brichet, if you'll remember, was unable to get the car in time to start at Paul Ricard a fortnight ago. So his first race in TCR Europe has got off to a disappointing and dramatic start as we watch once again Attila Tashi taking to the grass. One more lap then at least behind the safety car. Not coming through the pit lane this time, which is good news. The marshal still working there to clear up the fluids from Reece Barr's car. So just to recap, if you're just joining us, this is round 3 of TCR Europe 2018. It was Jaap van Lagen who started from pole in the Audi, but an incident on the start line taking out 3 cars in total. Safety car having been deployed. Fingers crossed we'll be racing again very shortly. But it is the Spaniard, Mikel Azcona. He leads in the Cupra ahead of the 2 Hondas. There they are, Attila Tashi ahead of Josh Files. Then it's Dusan Borkovic, 2-time winner in Paul Ricard a fortnight ago. Then it's Van Lagen, Danny Nage, Stian Paulsen, I'm pleased to see. I'll explain more about Stian a little bit later. Against Renaud Moller, who you'll remember started from pole in race 2 in Paul Ricard. Then Danny Cruz and Francisco Abreu rounding off your top 10. Further back, Francisco Mora in P11, Maxime Potti P12, Mark Jedlotsky. Sorry, I've missed one. Cedric Pirot P12, excuse me. Then Maxime Potti P13, Mark Jedlotsky P14, Loris Cenchetti's recovered to 15th. Then it's Chris Ricard. Then Viktor Davidovsky. And then Martin Rieber in P18. Marie Bo Coppens I mentioned in the pits. So the safety car coming in at the end of this lap, and also I'm seeing on my timing screen that the incident at the start is under investigation, unsurprisingly. So then, we will be racing again with less than 15 minutes of this race remaining. Lights currently still on the safety car. They will be going off within a few moments. The safety car will then peel in, and it will be down to Mikel Azcona to manage the restart as the field picks its way past the stricken car of Stefanovski. So the timing screen on the left there confirms as Azcona backs everything up. The safety car heads away. And it will be Tashi who will be watching. There goes the safety car, lights now off, so we will be racing again very shortly. You can almost sense the frustration in Tashi's car. Biding his moment. What will happen at this restart? Azcona goes, Tashi goes with him, then it's Files, then it's Dusan Borkovic, then it's Van Lagen. So, through turn 14, onto the start-finish straight. They will receive the green flag, and we are racing once again with a little over 13 minutes, plus 1 lap remaining. Van Lagen taking a look at the outside of Dusan Borkovic, going around the Tarzanbocht, but Borkovic has the line. Azcona starts to pull away from Tashi. The field just bunching up as they go through that sequence at turn 5. Azcona starting to pull away now. That's an interesting 3-way scrap for third place that we're looking at. Files, Borkovic, and around the outside, or does he? Goes, indeed. That was Van Lagen taking Borkovic around the outside. He now takes a look at the inside of Files, thinks better of it as Borkovic comes back at him. But the Audi, Van Lagen picking his moments to get past Borkovic. And Van Lagen's next target, the Honda of Josh Files. Double TCR Germany champion, TCR Middle East champion. Came so close to winning the one-off TCR Europe shootout last year. So through goes Tashi, then Files, Van Lagen, then Borkovic. Behind you see the bright yellow Cupra of Stian Paulsen. Paulsen ahead of Danny Nage, who finished on the podium in Paul Ricard. Through turn one they go. Oh, and that is car 88. That is Maxime Potty in the Volkswagen, off into the gravel. So I don't know if we'll see a replay of that or whether it was just the aftermath we caught. And no, indeed, it was Potty who locked up coming through turn one and straight on into the gravel. Just stopping, it would appear, before the tyre wall. There are yellow flags in the first sector, though. So again, those three running together. Borkovic still tucked up behind Jaap Van Lagen. Files defending. Ten minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this first race of the second race weekend of TCR Europe 2018. Azkonar, unsurprisingly, our race leader, setting the quickest lap of the race. In the Leopard Lukoil pits. What can their man do as they come down the start-finish straight? And again, Files just jinks slightly to block. As there you see the stricken Golf being recovered. So Azkonar still leads then from Attila Tashi. Completed 5 laps of this race. Josh Files is still holding off Jaap Van Lagen. Dusan Borkovic is in close attendance. And Stian Paulsen is, I think, closing the gap on Borkovic. I mentioned Stian Paulsen a few moments ago. He looked dreadful when I saw him yesterday, and he hardly slept the night before. Running the team and driving is clearly taking its toll. They discovered that the problem they thought they had in Paul Ricard wasn't as they thought. It was apparently a wire that had been cut by the fan and had basically shorted out the car's ignition. So they were working long into the night to get it sorted out before qualifying. He managed to get a good night's sleep last night. He's quite cheerful today. And he said, no dramas, quite a safe setup, but I desperately need to finish in the points. So, Stian Paulsen currently 6th behind Borkovic. There he is at the back of that train with the bright yellow Cupra. Danny Cruz has made it up to 8th. 9th is Jens Renaud Muller. In fact, 10th is Jens Renaud Muller. Across the line they come then. Azkonar pulling away from Tashi. Then it's this scrap we've been watching. In fact, 2 scraps developing now. One for 3rd and one for 5th. There's Muller in the Honda. Tucked up behind Francisco Mora. This is the battle for the final 2 of the top 10 places. Mora currently 9th in the Hyundai. Muller in the Honda. That's Coppens again, I think. Car 21, so she's clearly come out of the pits and is still having a problem. So whatever it was, it looks like the team hasn't sorted out the issue. Indeed, there she is, running slowly around to an escape road. And it looks like Mora is pulling away from Moller, having passed. So back to this scrap then for third between Josh Files and Jaap van Lagen. There is Dusan Borkovic, currently in fifth. Stian Paulsen in sixth. Van Lagen now all over the rear bumper of Josh Files' Honda. And it's all about pressure. It's all about making the man ahead make a mistake. Van Lagen on home turf. And remember, he's here representing, if you like, Jean-Carl Venet. This is the scrap going on outside the top 10. Pirot is P13 at the moment. As Van Lagen dives up the inside of Files, he timed that beautifully. A little kiss from Files, but Jaap van Lagen coming down the start-finish straight and just passing Files. And I think you can hear from the cheers of the crowd that was a popular move. So it's Van Lagen now up into third place. And indeed, this is the battle for 13th. I was saying that Cedric Pirot 13th, Boris Cenchetti 14th, Chris Ricard in 15th. There they are running together. Ricard having recovered from starting at the back of the grid following that engine change. Confirmation on the timing screen there that it's Jaap van Lagen who's now in P3. Let's just watch it again. He just jinks to Josh Files' right and just pops past as Files just kisses the rear bumper of the Audi. So through goes Van Lagen. Borkovic now is moving up on Files as Van Lagen heads off in pursuit of Attila Tashi ahead of him. So at the moment it's Cupra from Honda, from Audi, from Honda, Hyundai. And that little gap between Paulsen and Borkovic has come down. Dusan, we know, can be slightly impetuous. So what will he do? Is it all about attacking Josh Files or defending from Stian Paulsen? Danny Nage there, the 999 car. The Hyundai. That's Danny Cruz behind in the Cupra. Cruz, you'll remember, will start race 2 tomorrow from pole. And a race to forget, sadly, for Marie Bo-Coppens in the Cupra, the only DSG car in the race, having a miserable time of it. Files, though, still holding off Dusan Borkovic, with Paulsen running behind in 6th. So there goes Tashi. There goes Van Lagen, and this now is the battle for 4th between Josh Files and Dusan Borkovic. No change in this little scrap. Still Pirot from Cenchetti. From Ricard. That's the scrap of 13th. One of the features of this track, which is literally a couple of hundred meters away from the North Sea. It's virtually on the beachfront at Zandvoort, this circuit. And there's a bit of a sea mist hanging in the air today, but also sand gets blown across the road from the beach, making this track very slippery as there's contact. And that is the Honda that was in 13th place, Piro. And contact from Cencetti with Chris Richard now up a place. So Cencetti up to 13th. Let's have a look once again. Goes for a gap. And really that gap wasn't there. So Piro turned in. Cencetti was already alongside him. So whether that will go to the stewards, we'll keep an eye on the timing screen. Danny Nage still then ahead of Danny Cruz at the moment. There is Jaap van Lagen. Still third, but catching Attila Tashi. Only a minute of this race, plus 1 lap remaining. So is there time for second place to change hands? Mikael Athkanar off and way into the distance in the Cupra. So Mikael Athkanar, a couple of minutes, 2.5 minutes or so, 3 minutes away from potentially becoming our second race winner in TCR Europe 2018. Not just close enough to do anything about Danny Nage. So there will be 2 more laps of this 4.3 kilometre circuit at Zandvoort. Danny Nage currently 7th, Danny Cruz in 8th. Clock reaches 0, so the next time that our race leader goes across the finish line will be the start of the final lap. And that now is the scrap for second place. Mikael Athkanar is off into the distance, but Jaap van Lagen's closed right up on the rear of Attila Tashi's car. And Van Lagen looking for a way through, putting pressure on the young Hungarian driver. So will the podium places change hands in the dying moments of the race? There goes Athkanar. There is Tashi with Van Lagen climbing all over the back of the Honda. So it's time for Tashi to put the elbows out and safeguard that second place. The gap steadily coming down. Van Lagen slowly but surely catching Tashi. But there is 1 more lap left. So Athkanar crosses the line at the start of the final lap. Tashi has something like 1 minute and 46, 47 seconds to hang on. This is where Jaap van Lagen went up the inside of Josh Files. No such issues for Files' teammate this time. Attila Tashi holds on to second place, coming through Tarzanbocht. You saw briefly a moment or two ago, willing him on. You see there the changes in elevation at this circuit. Through goes Athkanar in the distance, our race leader. But this is the battle we're concentrating on. It's a thrilling finale to this first TCR Europe race at Zandvoort. Tashi at the moment holding on to second place. But Jaap van Lagen not letting it go. This battle will go to the wire. Millimetres between the two. And Van Lagen willing Tashi to make a mistake. One of the most experienced, one of the oldest drivers on the circuit today. 41-year-old Jaap van Lagen against one of the youngest, 18-year-old Attila Tashi. And moments away from crossing the finish line, it looks as though Attila Tashi has done what he needed to do as our race leader comes up to take the checkered flag. Mikel Azcona from Spain becomes the race winner, with Attila Tashi finishing second, Jaap van Lagen third, and then Josh Files behind that battle hangs on to fourth place ahead of Dusan Borkovic. Stian Paulsen will finish in sixth place ahead of Danny Nage, Danny Cruz. Francisco Mora and Jens Renaud Moller takes the final point for 10th position. But a great final couple of laps. Jaap van Lagen steadily reeling in Attila Tashi after passing Tashi's teammate, Josh Files. And so of the 22 starters, 17 finishes here at the first race in Zandvoort. But with all the battles going on, we hardly saw our race winner. And that was meant to be the moment at which we did see him. There he is on the left of your screens. Mikel Azcona in the Cupra. 21 years of age, has been competing in Seats, finished second in the Audi TT International Series last year. So very much a one-make man, having moved up to TCR Europe this year. We saw the speed that he was capable of at Paul Ricard when he was quickest in free practice. But in qualifying, he was edged out by Dusan Borkovic. And in the races, he was up there scrapping. But now he's delivered the victory for Cupra. And there is Potty's car. We saw going off, just avoiding the tyre barrier earlier. And relatively unscathed, I suspect, driving back around to the pits. But fingers crossed we'll have a moment to talk to Mikel Azcona when he arrives back at the pits. As Jaap van Lagen, to the delight of the Dutch fans, claims a podium finish in his deputising role for Jean Calvinet in the Leopard Lukoil Audi. The podium consisting of 3 different brands. So Azcona in the Cupra, Tashi in the Honda, and then Van Lagen in the Audi. And a recovery truck heads past me as the cars loop through into the back of the paddock as we get confirmation of the result of race 1 here at Zandvoort. Mikel Azcona takes the win from Attila Tashi. Van Lagen is third. Then it's Files, Borkovic, Stian Paulsen, Danny Nage, Danny Cruz, Francisco Mora, and Jens Renaud Moller rounding off the top 10. And then you see Piro is our final finisher, with our non-finishers Maxime Potty, Marie Bo-Coppens, Riespaar involved in that incident right at the start, along with Stefanowski and Brichet, the unfortunate Julien Brichet in the Peugeot. And you can see there the reaction down in the pit lane. Congratulations for Mikel Azcona. Let's see the reaction of the man himself. Very happy man. Mikel Azcona taking his first victory in TCR Europe. And with Dusan Borkovic failing to finish on the podium, that tightens things up as far as the points are concerned. And there you see Pepe Oriola's dad. Congratulations from Jaime Puig, the boss of Cupra Racing, formerly Seat Sport. Anyone would think that that was a popular victory. I sense somewhere in the pit lane is our man Alfredo Filippone, who's poised with a microphone to talk to Azcona, our race winner. but a moment for him to treasure. His first victory in TCR Europe, coming in round 3 of the series, the first of the 2 races here in the Netherlands. All sorts of entertainment planned for the fans, but let's wrap things up with our race winner talking to Alfredo Filippone.
Mikel Azcona, great win in this wonderful Zandvoort circuit that you like a lot, right?
Yes, I like a lot this circuit. I'm very happy with this result. We worked really hard this weekend with the team TCR Sport. We made the Cupra really fast, so I'm very happy for this result.
And it's very good for the championship.
Yes, fantastic for the championship. Yes, fantastic.
Well done, podium.
Happy man as he hands the helmet away, and as Alfredo was saying, his next appointment is with the podium, where he takes the winner's spoils after taking victory by 1.8 seconds over Attila Tashi, but it was that battle between Tashi and Van Lagen that captured our attention in the closing stages of the race. Chris Richard, I suspect, frustrated, finishing 14th and outside the points. And so, that was race 1 here at Zandvoort in the Netherlands. Let's just remind ourselves of some of the highlights. Memories then of race 1 here at Zandvoort. As we move to the podium, already there is Jaap van Lagen
Azcona
receiving the congratulations of Attila Tashi, and there is our race winner, Mikel Azcona. A very, very happy man taking the top step of the podium.
Vanwege de overwinning van Mikel gaan we luisteren naar het Spaanse doel. Dames en heren, heeft u een hartelijk applaus. En dan...
And the Spanish national anthem, in recognition of our race winner.
Dat is Yokohama Motorsport Manager. En die gaat hem uitreiken aan de winnaar hier.
So the trophy is presented by the motorsport manager of the tyre supplier Yokohama.
De tweede, second place.
Bottles of Pommery champagne waiting. Remember, there's no need to worry about race 2 and sticky overalls today. Race 2 is tomorrow. Plenty of time for those overalls to dry out. And so it should be the team or the group photo next. Indeed it is.
En dan hebben wij nog 1 prijs uit te reiken, dames en heren. Want we hebben
So trophies down, photos taken.
Jaap van Lagen het hoogste podium op. Want Jaap van Lagen is de TCR Benelux.
And of course, also I should have mentioned this weekend TCR Benelux. This is the first round of the Benelux series. And Jaap van Lagen takes the honours as the highest placed driver to finish in TCR Benelux. So he will be carrying 2 trophies away from the podium at the end of this first race. Should be champagne next, I think, gentlemen. And I feel sorry for the lady on the right. She was trapped, couldn't go anywhere. So, rather a polite champagne spraying. And that rounds off race 1 here at Zandvoort in the Netherlands.